Welcome back to Success with Steven. My name is Steven Smith. On this channel, we discuss all things financial literacy. If you're a Navy Federal member and you're wondering how you can possibly get multiple credit limit increases with Navy Federal Credit Union, then this video is definitely for you because the timing of your application can make or break your approval odds. If you apply too early, you risk a denial that could have easily been avoided. And if you apply strategically, you could walk away with higher limits, better terms, and even access the Navy Federal Trifecta of credit cards. So in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly when to apply to receive multiple credit limit increases and how to prepare before you do, and what the Navy Federal 91-3 rule actually means, because there is still a lot of confusion out there around this rule. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Before we talk about getting multiple credit limit approvals, it is very important to understand how Navy Federal Credit Union actually works. Navy Federal Credit Union only allows you to have up to 3 personal unsecured credit cards. And once you hit that limit, you cannot have another personal credit card. But you can request a credit limit increase, or you can apply for the Navy Federal Go Biz Rewards card on the business side. I actually have a full video walking you through the application process for the Go Biz Rewards card. I'm going to link that video right here. Make sure to check that out after this one. Now, unlike traditional banks, Navy Federal is relationship driven. So this means your behavior, your loyalty, and your overall account activity carry real weight. They do still care about how often you use your accounts, whether you make payments on time, and if you treat them as your main financial institution. And this is where the famous 91-3 rule will come into play. Now, you've probably heard me talk about this before, but here's the short version. You should wait 91 days or 3 full billing cycles after your last credit card approval before applying for another credit card. In simple terms, you can't apply for more than one Navy Federal credit card on the same day or even within the same 3-month period, because they only approve 1 new card per member every 90 days. That 91-day gap gives Navy Federal time to observe your payment habits, your spending habits, and your overall credit behavior. They want to see that you're managing your new credit line responsibly before they extend you more. For example, if you were approved for a Navy Federal credit card on January 1st, you shouldn't apply for another one until after the first week of April, because if you apply too soon, your application will almost certainly get denied. Now, this rule isn't something that Navy Federal publishes officially. It is based on patterns, and members have discovered this through real-world experiences. But it does hold true, because Navy Federal will use those 3 full statement cycles and the data that they need to assess your trustworthiness as a borrower. Now, with that said, you don't have to rush that 91-day mark. Your approval odds will depend on your credit profile and your relationship strength. Now, even though Navy Federal is very relationship based, if your credit is still developing, if you are in the rebuilding phase, you may want to check out Rising, because it can help you out. Rising is an all-in-one credit repair platform that not only will give you access to your credit reports and your scores, it will also show you what may be hurting your credit, and it helps you take action with tools like dispute templates, bureau response tracking, the auto mail feature where you can mail your disputes from the website or the mobile app, and I would use Rising as your 90-day credit improvement platform. It also includes up to 24 months of rental and utility trade lines that can back report payment history, helping add positive on-time payments, and up to 2 years of account age to your credit profile. It's also very easy to get started. Once you sign up, you can watch the How to Use Rising tutorial that will walk you through the platform in about 7 minutes or less than that. Right now, you can access your credit report for $1 through the 7-day trial. There will be a link in the description. There will also be a clickable link right here on screen. So with that said, if your TransUnion FICO 9 credit profile is ready and you do have a decent relationship with Navy Federal, you can begin the first part of this strategy, which would be applying for 3 Navy Federal credit cards every 91 days. So perfect. Now we understand that when it comes to applying for Navy Federal credit cards, that same 91-3 rule applies every single time. So again, you can apply for a new card roughly every 3 months, assuming you're managing everything responsibly and utilization is under control. However, this next part will confuse a lot of people. Your first Navy Federal credit limit increase on a brand new Navy Federal credit card that you just opened, you have to wait 91 days or 3 statement cycles to request your first credit limit increase. Now, the second credit limit increase on that same card, you will need to wait 6 months. not 3 months. And the reason is very simple. Navy Federal wants to see that you can handle the new limit responsibly for a longer period of time before giving you another increase. So think of it like this. The initial or your very first increase, you can request that after 3 months. Every credit limit increase after that will be every 6 months. That is the rhythm that will keep you growing steadily. And if you have multiple Navy Federal credit cards, you can stagger your increases across them. So for example, if you got one card last August, another card in January, you could request both credit limit increases around April as long as the timelines line up. After that, you can request a limit increase every 6 months. Just remember, Navy Federal allows only 3 personal credit cards in total. The maximum limit per card is usually $50,000 except for the flagship rewards card. That one can go up to $80,000. But if we're trying to get multiple credit limit increases, then we're not going to have $80,000 on this one card. So it kind of wouldn't matter in this situation. Because across all of your cards, you have a combined credit limit capped at $80,000 total on the personal side. So you can't have 3 cards all at $50K each. The combined ceiling will be $80,000, and the only card eligible once again for that full $80,000 limit is the flagship. Now, when you're ready for that limit increase, here's a crucial tip that most people overlook. You want to always request this through the Navy Federal mobile app or the website, not over the phone and not in branch. If you do this online or through the app, Navy Federal will perform a soft pull. It will not affect your credit score. But if you do it over the phone or in person, it could trigger a hard pull, which would cost you a few points. I've confirmed this personally. It's still true today. The app method works, it's fast, and it keeps your score intact. I recommend doing that. It's really, really easy. But when you request that increase, make sure your account activity shows strong history, multiple payments, maybe even per month, steady usage like maybe 5 to 10 transactions, and low utilization, below 10% ideally. And of course, most of all, you don't want to have any late payments. And yes, Navy Federal does look at that internally before deciding how much to raise your limit. Now, let's talk about the Navy Federal Trifecta. Now, if you're working towards the best credit lineup possible, these are the top 3 cards to aim for. The first one will be the flagship rewards card. That is the best for travel and high limit potential. The second will be the More Rewards American Express card. That one is great for everyday spending and points. And finally, the Platinum credit card. That one is excellent for low APR and balance transfers. Now, if you want to see a full in-depth review for every Navy Federal credit card where I break this down, I'm going to link that video right here. I just updated this video recently. These 3 cards together give you coverage across every major category: low interest, high rewards, and travel benefits. And once you lock in all 3, you've basically completed the Navy Federal credit card lineup. A common question people ask is, should I apply for a new card or a limit increase first? Well, here's the strategy that I would recommend. You want to always go for the limit increase first. But if you're trying to get multiple credit cards, it kind of doesn't matter. We need to work on that 91-day cadence, apply for a new card every 91 days. And then of course, from the last card that we got, the first initial increase, 90 days after that, apply for your second card, limit increase. Then again, apply for your third card, and then limit increase on that other card, and then 6 months once again for the next limit increase going forward. I know that sounds like a lot, but it's a very easy pattern once you figure it out. And with that being said, sometimes the best move is actually waiting, because if your credit is not where it needs to be, if your utilization is, let's say, over 30%, if you have any recent late payments, or if you're carrying balances across multiple cards, then you should just stop. You shouldn't request a credit limit increase yet. I wouldn't apply for anything new. I would just focus on lowering utilization, getting your balances down if possible, and then go for new cards or increases. Because the thing is, Navy Federal pays close attention to how much credit you've already used, and they can also look at what you're applying for. If it's maxed out, those can easily result in denials if it doesn't make sense, right? Like if I have a maxed out credit card on, let's say, Citibank or something like that, then why would Navy Federal approve me for, let's say, a a $20,000 card on their side. They would not, because it doesn't look like you can handle the credit you already have. So remember that patience will always beat desperation in the credit game. And before you apply for anything, always use the Navy Federal pre-qualification tool, because it is a soft pull, meaning it won't affect your score and it will show you which cards that you are likely to be approved for. Now, be aware that pre-qualification doesn't mean guaranteed approval. It just means you met the preliminary requirements. But it's still a powerful way to check your odds before risking a hard inquiry. And Navy Federal Credit Union on the personal side, once again, will pull your TransUnion credit report, and they normally use your FICO 9 score. Also, if you're new to Navy Federal, like maybe you just joined, don't rush to apply for a card immediately. Build that relationship, and here's what I would do if I was starting from scratch. Open up a checking account and a savings account. Set up a direct deposit. Open, let's say, a small pledge loan. That way you can show some payment history. Wait 3 months. Then after that, you've built your relationship and your internal score will have risen. You can apply for your first credit card, and that is how you will position yourself for those $20,000 plus approvals that everyone talks about. Because credit unions really do care about loyalty, and if you show them that they are your main financial institution, they are more likely to reward you. And if you want to watch an entire video about how you can build your internal score, I'm going to link that video here. This is a video on how I learned to build my internal score from a Navy Federal employee. All right, let's summarize the timing and the playbook. That way you do not miss a step. So after your first credit card approval, you want to wait 91 days or 3 statement cycles before applying for another credit card. You want to request your first credit limit increase after 91 days. All future increases will be every 6 months. For new credit cards, you can apply every 3 months max, up to 3 personal credit cards in total. Always use the app for limit increases because it will be a soft pull, and I recommend using the pre-qualification tool before applying. You also want to maintain low utilization, and you want to have active usage. And here's one final example. If you started with, let's say, 3 Navy Federal credit cards at $5,000 each, you could theoretically work your way up to around $80,000 in total exposure in roughly 21 months. And I'll break that down. Since Navy Federal allows you to apply for a new credit card every 91 days with a max amount of 3 cards, you will be able to request your first limit increase after that 91-day mark. And then you can request a credit limit increase every 6 months. And if you receive the max amount, which is $8,000, I want to make that a point, you cannot get more than $8,000 per credit limit increase for every request. You will be sitting around $79,000 in total credit limits by month 18 to 19, and potentially crossing $80,000 around month 21. So essentially, with this blueprint, you could reach $80,000 in credit limit from Navy Federal after 1 year and 9 months. And of course, none of these increases are guaranteed, but this does show you how powerful Navy Federal can be if you build the relationship over time. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. If you've built the trust with Navy Federal Credit Union, if you keep your accounts positive and you use their full ecosystem, Navy Federal will take care of you. Just remember that this isn't a sprint, it's a relationship. You want to play it smart, you want to stay patient, and you want to keep building over time. Now, if this video helped you out, then do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on notifications. That way you never miss another upload. Again, thank you so much for watching this video, and all of you have a wonderful day.